chat at the top table, please. Okay, 1:30 session. Call the matches out. There's a couple of matches in progress, but we'll get to those when we can. So on table 2, David Stock, Ashley Hardcastle. David Stock, Ashley Hardcastle, table 2. On table 4, Josh Corkett, Danny Davies. Josh Corkett, Danny Davies, table 4. Table 5, Ian Duffy, Ian Davenport. Ian Duffy, Ian Davenport, table 5. Table 6, Carl Egger, Chris Hampson. Carl Egger, Chris Hampson, table 6. Table 7, Spencer Jones, Jack Schofield. Spencer Jones, Jack Schofield, table 7. Table 9, Carl Sutton, Adam Davis. Carl Sutton, Adam Davis, table 9. On table 10, James Brooken, Sam Story. James Brooken, Sam Story, table number 10. On table 11, Spencer Daniels, Glenn Cahir. Spencer Daniels, Glenn Cahir, table 11. On table 12, Eddie Barker, Joe Sison. Eddie Barker, Joe Sison, table 12. On table 13, Paul Keepin, Scott Yardley. Paul Keepin, Scott Yardley, table 13. On table 14, Chris Day, Jordan Green. Chris Day, Jordan Green, table 14. On table 15, Glenn Whitmore, Anthony Tedds. Glenn Whitmore, Anthony Tedds, table 15. On table 16, Jake McCartney, Aki Khan. Jake McCartney, Aki Khan, table 16. On table 17, Scott Gillespie, Scott Crawley. Scott Gillespie, Scott Crawley, table 17. On table 18, Ben Young, Neil Randall. Ben Young, Neil Randall, table 18. On table 19, Mark Shepherd, Alan Hill. Mark Shepherd, Alan Hill, table 19. On table 20, John Chapman, Greg Batten. John Chapman, Greg Batten, table 20. And finally, for now, on table number 1, the stream table, Phil Harrison, Gareth Hibbott. Phil Harrison, Gareth Hibbott, table number 1.
I think it's squeezing, sorry. I didn't know you were there, mate. I thought you were gassing.
All over,
Gassing.
mate. Natural, you're Andy. An iron clothes, but an iron tails. My missus did. Let's go.
Round one, game from the 1:30 session. And this is IPA former world champion Gareth Hibbott playing the World Rules former world champion Phil Harrison. Gaz Hibbott wins the lag. Interestingly, Gaz has he's playing with a borrowed cue because he's broken this morning in practice. His ferrule is now pointing sideways, so we're going to have to see how he gets on. As we all know, at this level, that can make all the difference.
Ian Duffy in the room. Ian Duffy in the room. Give us a wave. Ian Duffy.
Misses the long red to bottom left, but make sure it hangs over the pocket. Played it at pocket weight so he could hold for the plant, but also create a bit of a problem for Phil with this yellow on the left hand side. So it looks like now he's probably forced into playing a double, but all the yellows are there. Oof, well, I did not expect him to miss that. Wow, that was close. Look at Phil's face. I love it. It tells a story. What a draw this is to get this match in round one. I mean, this is a game that you would expect to be a final, and could quite easily be the final. As I say, you do wonder whether this change of cue at the last minute is going to make a difference. It's just going to be that little bit of touch and accuracy. I don't think he's had a chance to practice with this cue at all. Maybe just a couple of frames. Not even sure who he's borrowed it off of, to be honest. Somebody asking what time Carl Sutton's on, but if you want to have a look at the draw and all of the results so far, then head across to qscore.com, go to the live tab, and you'll see the World Rules Pool Tour 5 main event. If you click on that, then you will see the entire draw, all of the games that are currently in play, all of the scores. There's all the scores from around the arena. I can tell you that Carl Sutton is that game already in action. That one started as part of this session, the 1:30 session. He's currently 1-0 up. He won the first frame against Adam Davis. A couple of games still being played from that 12 o'clock session. They're going quite slowly. Sean Morris against Ben Flack. Ben's 4-2 up, but that game's been going for about an hour and 40 minutes, and they've only played 6 frames. Matt Briley went through. Sean Story went through. John Rowe went through. Callum Singleton. There's no major shocks. Danny Davis has won the first frame against Josh Corkett. Eddie Barker's won the first frame against Joe Sison. And Gareth Hibbott, well, he's got one problem ball, that red on the right hand side. The problem is with that red, there's yellows either side of it, so it's going to be difficult to develop. May have an angle here to be able to top through. He's landed on the double, but you'd say if that double doesn't go, surely does it? You'd think the yellow would be in the way, but he's landed on it, so it must. If that is indeed... No, he's going to... I didn't think the double was on. What's he spotted here? Chopping it to middle. That's a delicate shot. Tough. Horrible shot to have to play. all of the yellows go somewhere. The one problem will be this one just below the black. It doesn't pass to bottom right. It does obviously go to bottom left, but he needs to try and land on it. I don't think he'll try and develop it. I think he'll use one of the balls in the middle of the table to come down and try and land on it. Unless he spotted something here. Maybe, I think he was just looking at the potential of playing the yellow off the red to middle, but surely that red's past the middle, isn't it? It's one of those that you can play firm and square it up. It does look fairly natural. If it does go, then it looks fairly natural for that red to come down into the yellow and develop it. But as I say, it just looks like that red's too far gone. I just don't think it's there. Too far past the pocket. Again, not quite sure what he was playing onto there. Maybe I felt that he could have just come up short of where he is now and used the one on the bulk line to screw back over to the right hand side to get onto that ball. The problem is you don't want to leave that until last. You want to take it as early as possible. May still just have that angle. May also have it on the ball closest to the top cushion. The reason you want to take this early in the break is because if it goes wrong, you want alternative balls. Yeah, this looks... Yeah, no, it still doesn't look great. You can't use the ball to the right centre. I don't think you can miss that red to find the line. May just have an angle again on the one in bulk. May just be able to punch it across from the one into left centre. I don't think he likes either, to be honest. You can see from his body language, a little shake of the head. I just don't think he's quite right on any of them. Taking it from the one in bulk makes that line so much more difficult. Playing it with top and side. This is a better angle. Yeah, you can see there, it's a better angle just to punch across into the gap between red and black onto the right hand side cushion. There's not much of a margin of error, that's the problem. And now he's running out of balls. If it does go wrong, it doesn't have much in the way of alternatives. Clearly still didn't have the right angle, so he's gone for it a third time. This looks pretty much the same angle as he had last time. And the problem is, how do you then get from the ball on the right hand side? Oh yeah, I don't know. Not sure how he's going about this now. But he is Phil Harrison. If anyone can find a way, it's going to be him. He's forced to leave this to his last ball. And, well, all your eggs in one basket. He could never find the right angle to stun across and get on it. He had about 3 attempts. Don't like this now. But as I say, he is Phil Harrison. And I reckon that yellow must pass beneath the black to left centre, and if it does, that's just about perfect. Well, what can you say? whatever the clearance he had planned when he came to the table. It would have always been in his mind to take that yellow earlier. Would not have wanted to leave it until his last ball, but goodness me, did he execute that well. Had to play that shot to come off of 2 cushions and cannon into the yellow perfectly to leave the ball to left centre. That's very nice. And takes advantage of the mistake from Gareth Hibbott. It's 1 frame each. Greg Batten is 3-0 down against John Chapman. Dry break, but where's the opener?
Is Alan Hill in the room? Alan Hill.
May be able to get through to the straight yellow to bottom right, but that's a tester from the jaws of the pocket. Can probably see the red that's, well, you can see the red that's closest to the bulk line to bottom right, but again it's nasty. May just be able to get through the gap to play yellow onto the yellow and red over the pocket for the plant, or even the red. There's a couple of options, but I think it's going to have to be the plant to middle. Red onto the into the middle pocket off the couple of balls that were there, and still not opened up particularly nicely there. So the red closest to the bulk line. He's probably going to use that as his last ball. Land on it on the left hand side, put it to top right to leave himself the black. Doesn't look over the moon with where he's landed. I think he's still okay. Probably just a little straight. Wanted just a hint of angle to be able to screw back across in between black and yellow. Yeah, you can see just a little straight, so may just have to pinch the pocket slightly. I think it's one of those you can just pinch it a touch with left hand side. You can see he's playing with left hand side. Red ball will go in the left hand side of the pocket, just like so. Landed on top of the black, so yeah, he won't be hampered. He can just cue past the black, so just needs to drop it in anyway. I love the comment from Stephen. Nice to see Gareth still playing at this level. Like he's about 75 or something. Gareth's only, I think, it might be wrong, I think he's about 51. He's younger than me, I'm sure he is. There's not that much age difference between him and Phil Harrison. I think it was Phil's birthday yesterday, actually. I think it was 48. Still both young men in this game. I know Gaz looks like he's a pensioner, but and I know Viv will be watching. Hello, Viv. So happy birthday to Phil Harrison for yesterday. Looking to celebrate in style with a win this weekend. Good prize money on offer. This main event pays £5,000, so not to be sniffed at. Look at that. Last ball on the table. See lots of people tuning in to watch this game, and quite rightly so. Two former world champions battle out in the World Rules Pool Tour. And good afternoon and welcome to you all. Welcome to Daventry in the World Rules Pool Tour Event 5. Two of the biggest names in the game meeting round 1, and neither would have relished that draw when it came out. And shout out to Postyboy007 watching from Aberdeen. Glad you're enjoying the action. As always, if you're watching on and enjoying things, please do hit the like button. Whether you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook, click the thumbs up on YouTube. People tuning in from everywhere from Morocco. Kevin tuning in from Australia. Needs to get right up in bulk. This has suddenly become tricky because he's got the wrong angle, so he's going to have to play this with deep screw, come off with 2 cushions across the table twice, needs to land well on the one in bulk as well. You're going to see the cue ball, straight into the middle. Ouch. And this is the problem, because he's not playing with his own cue. It's shots like that where it really makes a difference. A lot of those shots are very much about feel. That one just made it. Sydney watching from Johannesburg in South Africa. Joe Woodzidi. We really do have an international audience today. Yeah, so Gaz had a unfortunate incident with his own cue in practice just this morning. I don't know if it was a miscue or what actually happened, but I've seen the offending article, and basically the ferrule's pointing sideways. So it's all right if you're only going to play top shots or shots with top spin, you're absolutely fine. Always difficult when you've been playing with the same cue for years and then suddenly you have to borrow one off somebody else. As you can see, has just popped away for a bathroom break, so the scores around the room. Carl Sutton, who's been struggling for a bit of form recently, he's not struggling today against another former world champion, Adam Davis. He's currently 5 frames to 1 up. Kev Stewart watching from Norwich, or Kev Seaward as he's now known. Sorry about that, Kev. I hope you haven't been getting some stick over that one. I'm now known as Nick Thin, because that's the way I was booked into the hotel in Stoke-on-Trent last weekend. Mr. Thin. That's all right. I got the last laugh. I never paid for my breakfast, so Will, you can pick up the cost of that one, because they're not going to track down Mr. Thin, are they? Kev, it could be worse. You could be Carl Sutton when I called him Jimmy Croxton. He loved it that weekend. All his mates were calling him Jimmy. It's my age. Gaz judged that cannon really well. He's got a lovely angle now just to come across the face of the yellow. It's still at the bottom of the table, so you can take out this one problem and then go and work on the top of the table. Another lovely shot, well judged, just to find the gap between those reds. I think he's just looking at the cannon now into the top red of the two, but again he just needs to judge this right. That's not what he planned, and that's just gone wrong now. He's just struggling a little, but it's to be expected. The problem now, he's got the natural angle takes him into the yellow, into the red at the top of the table. You can load up with left-hand side, but then he needs to judge the flick on the... Is he looking at... I think he's looking at screwing into it and kind of catching the top half of the red. This could easily go wrong. You can see he's playing it with loads of left-hand side. That's lovely. He judged that so well. He knew he was going to cannon it. He played it with loads of left-hand side. So when the cue ball hit that top cushion, it gave him every chance to come back out into open play. Judged it really well. That's top drawer. Gareth Hibbott still in this game, fighting away 3 frames each. As I say, hats off to him. Not playing with his own cue, so that really does make such a difference. So difficult. Kev, I'm always getting people's names wrong. I get something stuck in my head. Of course, you got the old Spencer Davis group, haven't you? The 1960s pop group. So that gets stuck in my head. There was a period where I used to know a guy called Lee Cousins. So I used to call Tom Cousins Lee Cousins. I mean, I don't know. As I say, it's just an age thing. You get a bit senile when you get up around my age. So Dean, as previously mentioned during an earlier stream, if anyone is experiencing any issues in terms of the stream being a little bit blurry, you'll notice nowadays, due to lockdown and the amount of people using YouTube, now YouTube default your resolution to 360. So you need to click on the 3 dots and go to quality. You'll see the quality is being output. Is at your end, it'll be 360. So if you go into advanced and then in there you'll see the settings. You can change it to 1080. So just change your quality to 1080 and it'll sharpen up your picture. We've had a few people over the weekends complaining of the same thing, but it's not our end. It just needs to be changed in your settings, and it's just YouTube. I think used to default to the highest setting, and now it defaults to the lowest. So if anyone is suffering, then please do go in and try that. Should make all the difference. I think he's just on this, and that was a delightful positional shot to land here. Really needed to be perfect, and it was. And again, just left a lovely angle now. Makes the game so easy when you've got the cue ball on a string. The way he's playing with his cue now, he seems to have found its measure. Maybe just struggled with a couple of shots early doors, but the way he's playing with it now, he won't want to give it back. Beautiful. Phil Harrison will break off in frame number 8, looking to return the favour. It's 4 frames to 3 in favour of Gareth Hibbott. Screws the cue ball straight up the centre of the table. Really controlled that well. Huge break, absolutely huge. But it's come up dry somehow. That's really unlucky. I think he has to go reds here. Well, Phil knows it. You can see he gives everything away on his face. He knows how well he hit that. He won't be able to believe he didn't make a ball there. So I'm pretty sure, as you can see, well, I was going to say I'm pretty sure the red passes the yellow to go into that bottom right pocket. But it's tight. I think he's tried to screw right across the table. I think he's tried to screw across onto the side cushion and play this red up to top left. So I don't reckon that red does go, because I think he was looking to play that to top left and then screw back into this. It's really tight. May just have the left hand side of the pocket, maybe to drop it in off the knuckle, but as it is, he's missed the red into right centre, so we may have to come back to that one later. The obvious problem for Phil is the yellow on the right hand side just above the bulk line. So looking to tackle that problem immediately. So he's going to play the yellow off the red to move the red aside. Cue ball's natural path takes it across onto the right hand side cushion. Probably just slightly more angle than ideal, because I think he was wanting to hold for the red that he's just cannoned into, and he's cannoned that into a worse position now. And yeah, just looking again at the table, the yellow wouldn't have gone in off the red anyway, it's too far down. I think he's going to have to play the double, and he's got the right angle to cannon the yellow out, but if he goes cushion side, he's not forced into attacking from here, but I think he probably will. He's got a nice angle off this double. Just go cushion first. Oh, how well has he judged that? Brilliant. Still not out of the woods yet, though. He's not got much of an angle on this one along the top cushion. So again, he's going to be left with a really difficult next pot. He can't get down to the middle of the table to take the one to the left of the blue spot. So I think he just needs to take his medicine, drop it in, and leave himself a long pot. I would say probably try and stun down somewhere near the bulk line on the right hand side and take this one to bottom right. Leave it fairly straight. In fact, straight would be ideal. So this needs really good cueing. Looks a lot easier than it is. Needs to get the cue ball out as well, so needs to punch it in, screw the cue ball off the cushion. Lovely. And you know when Phil's playing with confidence and he's happy because he just jumps off the shot and strides around for the next. This is a top clearance. So a couple of mistakes now from Gareth. Noticeably, I think in the second frame he had a chance to go 2-0, and now again with the chance. I mean, they were very, very difficult chances both times. Phil not exactly happy with this. He's playing into a blind pocket, and I think he was just concerned with the cannon. I think the natural angle was pushing him towards the red. If he cannoned it half ball, could have gone in off, but again he judged it well. Four frames each. Advantage still just favouring Gaz as he has the break. Winning the lag can be so important in these tight games. Carl Sutton was 5 frames to 1 up. Definitely 4-1, I think 5-1 up against Adam Davis, and that's now 5 frames each. That's another big clash. Wow. Now, try break for Gaz. That gives Phil first chance. Yellows look okay. It's just about that one yellow in bulk on the right hand side and where that goes. doesn't go into right corner, which I'm pretty sure it doesn't, and Phil doesn't think he can land on it, then he may take reds. Yeah, so he's looking at yellows. He's just thinking whether he can get onto that right-hand side, just plotting the route, thinking how can I get to that right-hand side, just leave myself fairly straight on the one just to the left of brown spot to get back across for the other one that's also in bulk. So he already has the entire table mapped out in his mind and how he wants to go about this clearance. Just finished with more angle than he wanted here. I think he was trying to land fairly straight on the yellow, just above what would be the blue spot. So he could just drift across. Now, unless he can get above the black for the one over the middle, I think the overhead would show us, well, you can see he's cueing it, so he clearly can get through to that. Now this looks perfect. So just screw on and off the side cushion, coming back just above where the cue ball is now, probably 6 inches further up the table. No, he would have wanted to be just off straight so he can screw straight back, and I think he's okay. Yeah, looks perfect. And just screw into the gap between the red and yellow, somewhere just above the bulk line. Well, that's closer than he wanted, but he's fine. Say he's fine, it just makes it a little more awkward to control the cue ball. If they were 6 inches further apart, then he could play this with top. But now, when it's so close together, you sometimes, when you top it, you get that instant kind of arc of the cue ball, and then that suddenly brings those two reds into play. This would be much easier to control if there was a little more separation. So he's going to play it with left-hand side, but don't be surprised to see it cannon into those reds. Oh, he just missed it. Just missed it. I think he may have played that with the anticipation that he was just going to flick the red, which is why he's overhit it slightly. Probably took that into consideration. Beautiful cue ball control. So well judged. Now suddenly the advantage swings across to Phil Harrison as he wins that one against the break. That was a lovely clearance. Very high quality pool being played from both players. At the moment, the break is dictating the match, just a couple of small misses along the way. The next match in play is going to be Govey Gill against Clinching, and that's going to be followed at 4:30 with Sean Chipperfield against Scott Pope. So some really good action still coming up. I'm really looking forward to the Sean Chipperfield-Scott Pope game. Scott's been playing really well recently, and let's see if he can continue that run. He's got a big test in front of him with Sean Chipperfield, because Sean Chipperfield is on form. This looks very good. I mean, he's landed with the perfect angle on the yellow to bottom right to develop his difficult ball on the side rail. So this looks fairly plain sailing. It's just about the cannon and getting that yellow out. If he does, then everything's there. Always nice when you land with the perfect angle to knock out your only bad ball. Doesn't want to play it too hard. Well, he's controlled it fairly well, but the yellow has just gone up and sat on top of the other one. I don't think that'll cause him a problem, because, as you can see, it's a bit of a dot-to-dot finish. If he can, if he pots the one to middle, and then he's got probably the one on the bulk line. Well, he's going to play the one on the bulk line now, and then work his way back down. Actually, that's a much better idea, because you're leaving the ball over the middle just in case something does go wrong. But he's landed perfectly to play this into middle, then top right, and then play the one to left middle, land on the one on the left side cushion as his last ball to get on the black. So this is pretty much dot to dot. If you would be so kind to please hit the thumbs up button, and if you do get a chance, it would be even better would be if you could share the stream for us. There's a lot of people watching. I know there's lots more who would enjoy watching this as well. So yeah, click that thumbs up on YouTube, the like button on Facebook, and do please share the stream for us. We're going to be here all weekend, bringing you the best of the action. So suddenly that one difficult missed ball that Gaz missed in the previous frame is going to cost him 2 frames. Because Phil cleared the last one. He's going to break and clear these, and then Phil Harrison will be on the hill. No mistakes from Phil Harrison. Carl Sutton, Adam Davis now tied up at 6 frames each. As I mentioned, Carl was a long way ahead of that. Chris Day 4-2 up against Jordan Green. I'll probably end up mentioning this a lot over the weekend, but somebody else mentioning that the stream isn't particularly clear for them. It's going to be at your end rather than ours. You need to change your resolution. YouTube are now defaulting to 360 as an output, so you need to change it to 1080. It's in your settings You click on the three dots at the top right of the screen and you can change the settings so you're watching it in 1080. So if you're watching a blurry screen, then it's up to you to do something about it, because the output here is pretty much perfect. Just trying to play that at a controlled pace, just to land on the yellow in bot. Guy's saying it did touch, which it did. I could see the yellow rested on the lip, so deliberate foul by Phil, but that's not what he wanted. He was trying to hold the red over the pocket, and he's now left this for Gaz with two shots. You expect him to be able to clear from here. So I think he'll probably, I mean, he could try and develop the red that's at the top of the table, but he will probably just use his two shots just to bring it out. There's less risk involved. He can try and go into it if he wants to. If he feels comfortable that he's going to get it out, then I mean, you're probably better off going into it now, because then if it does go wrong, you've still got the second visit. Probably gone just a bit further than absolutely comfortable. I think he's got too much angle on the yellow to top left to be able to screw straight back. Don't know, may just be able to steal the pocket. And if he wants to screw across the table, then the red's in the way. You can see him there lining up with his cue. That red is playing like a beach ball. It's right in the path of where he wants to be. Yeah, definitely got too much angle to be able to screw back. If that yellow had gone a couple of rolls less, this would have been an absolute formality, but as it is, he's going to have to... Oh, dear. Play around the red and try and land on the one at the top of the table, and he's ran into the black. Calls a total, and you can see Phil nodding his head. Still expect them to go close with the pot, but the problem is, what do you do with the 8 ball afterwards? He's going to have to play this as pace, I think. hoping to get a bit fortunate. Yeah, there's no luck there. And I think that could be the end of the road. And Gaz just not been able to find his form in this main event. Bizarrely, he's gone out in the first round. If Phil goes on to make this clearance, he'll have gone out in the first round in the last 3 events. But it didn't hamper him too much in the last one because he really found his form in the Jason Owen. But, it won't have helped that he's had to borrow a cue at the last minute because he's got a problem with his own cue. And that may have made the difference because you need to be at the top of your game when you run into Phil Harrison. And Phil is playing well, somebody who hasn't been on the best of form over the last 3 or 4 months, and he looks good today. But it's going to be the Jason Owen Open that Gareth Hibbott's going to have to focus on again, and can he recreate what he did in the last event where he went out in the first round and went on to win the Open. We will find out over this weekend, but it's he bows out of the main event. Phil Harrison wins. He's through to round 2. So next up on this table is going to be Govinda Gill against Clint Jansen. We'll go down for a couple of words with Phil Harrison. We'll see you down there in just a moment. Joined by Phil after that win. Phil, it's probably fair to say that the last few months you haven't probably been on the kind of form that you expect for yourself, but you look pretty good there.
Yeah, I don't know, I've had a week off. I just put my cue away and went to London for a little bit with my family and played steady there.
Yeah.
Gareth missed a few, but I just haven't really performed at all for the last couple of months, and no matter where I've been, I've lost first round, so nice to win a round.
Well, I mean, what do you put that down to? Is that just a mental thing, or is it just time away from the table during lockdown, maybe?
I think I've had my own way for the last 10, 15 years, you know, so, there's times when you're going to have a bad run, and this is my turn. So, it's just what, it's like Nick, you have to fight through the bad times, and that's what I'm trying to do. It's demoralising, but I'm getting there one step at a time, and the standard's so good as well, and obviously if you play just below par, you're going to get found out, and that's what's happened to me the last couple of months.
Yeah. I mean, it was blow for blow there until 4 frames each, and then obviously a dry break from Gaz. He made a couple of mistakes at early doors. It looked like he was struggling because he's borrowed a cue. So it looks like he was struggling a little bit with...
Well, I'm glad he was borrowing one then.
He broke his cue this morning, so he's had to borrow one off with someone.
God, I don't believe that. That's unbelievable. Yeah. I thought he was struggling. He was losing the cue ball a little bit, and like the shot at the end, really, he just didn't get a cue ball where he wanted it. So that's probably down to that. And Emily broke better than I did. I don't know if I got a ball off the break or not, but I was certainly struggling on the break, which I have been doing for the last couple of months.
Unusually for you, because I mean, your break's one of the stronger parts of your game, isn't it? I mean,
is it? I don't know.
It's always you always seem to time it well. It's always been fairly consistent. I think I remember a time when you were playing Mick Hill back in the Supreme Series where you were hitting the front ball and the cue ball was going to the side rail within 3 or 4 inches each time. Always had that consistency, but it's just a little bit all over at the moment.
Yeah, I've been all over the place with it, Nick. I don't know why. I just haven't been able to break. Tried everything a few times over, and I just don't seem to be able to get one. But I'll keep going. I'll keep going, one ball at a time.
Absolutely, yeah.
Cheers.
I mean, we know what quality you are, Phil, and we saw it right there. So maybe just keep recreating that over the weekend. And
Yeah, I mean, if I play like that, then obviously that
every chance.
You know, I've got a chance, but it's a long way to go yet.
We'll see you back here in the final then, eh?
Cheers, Nick. Thank you. I hope so.
Cheers, Phil. Thanks for your time.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.